Hello everyone and welcome to the Yoshi Cast. I'm Yoshi. Today is Tuesday, December 18th, 2018, and this is episode 28 of Bag and Board.
Yoshi!
Welcome back, comic book friends, as together we go over Wednesday's comic book haul, and it did not disappoint. There were a lot of good books out last Wednesday, and we're going to jump into them. Starting with Sleepwalker number 4. I'm excited to talk about this, and I want to warn you right now, there are huge spoilers I have to talk about in this. I'm going to talk about it quickly, but I am going to be talking about them. So if you are all interested in the current Infinity Wars, if you are all interested in what happens after the current Infinity Wars, skip past this part because it's going to kill you. But there's a really big reveal, I think, in the back of this issue. So if you haven't read it, go get it if you're interested in Marvel, if you're interested in Infinity Wars. But let's go ahead and take a ridiculous amount of care of bagging and boarding this sucker. So in this book, Sleepwalker has been traveling through the Infinity Zones, almost through all 4 issues, practically through every part of all 4 issues, searching for his host, Rick. It's revealed in here that Rick ends up being combined with Nick Fury Jr., and that's where Rick Fury comes in. It didn't click with me in issue 3, but it made sense here. So I would say the first half of this issue is Sleepwalker fighting to find Rick, and the second half of it is after he finds him fighting to protect Rick, which is very cool. This is the big reveal I want to talk about because this is huge, I think. Whatever happens in Infinity War, Gamora's thing gets unsnapped. I can't tell you specifically what happens because I'm not reading the Infinity Wars proper storyline. I've just been reading Sleepwalker. Something happened in the main book where all the heroes that had meshed together to become one hero, combined like Rick and Nick Fury, untangled themselves and became separate people again. Rick goes back to Earth, and Sleepwalker meets him in his dreams, and Sleepwalker is just renewed. He's ready to take on evil and stop it in all its forms, and Rick is just happy to be along and happy to help out, and they kind of pull their own type of we have to assemble a team, and Rick turns to Sleepwalker and says, "Who are you thinking?" And this is the page. There's a lot of suggestions on this page, and it's worth noting who I recognize are Daredevil, Darkhawk, Death's Head, Wolverine, but then you have so these two are reviewing people that they can ask for help, and then you've got Nick Fury Jr. who calls into S.H.I.E.L.D. and says, I want you to record some words here. Sleepwalker is word 1, and Secret Defenders is words 2 and 3. And this is heavily implying that not only is Sleepwalker going to be part of the Secret Defenders, but I like to think that these images that they're showing on the previous page of Wolverine and Daredevil and Darkhawk and whatnot are also going to be part of the Secret Defenders. Secret Defenders has not been solicited yet. You can't go to your comic book store and say, hey, reserve this for me. I'm sure going to try on Wednesday, but it's not solicited yet. I highly doubt I'm going to be successful. But yeah, this is... I am very, very stoked that it appears that I'll be able to continue to follow along with Sleepwalker in Secret Defenders. And this is a big reveal for Marvel fans. I know that I don't believe the Secret Defenders have been around. There hasn't been an issue since the late 90s. So this is kind of big. I'm probably wrong on that, but my knowledge is that they haven't been around since the late 90s. And yeah, I'm very excited that I'll be able to continue Sleepwalker adventures. What appears to be in Secret Defenders. And that is a big reveal with this book. And it's still a good read. I didn't tell you everything that happens. I try not to tell you every nuance. But yeah, if you're into Marvel and you're interested in Infinity Wars and what's going to happen afterwards, This is a key book. I can see this book jumping a bit in value if Secret Defenders turns out to be really good, because this is kind of the start of that whole idea. So yeah, Sleepwalker, issue number 4. This was a $4 comic book. Pretty decent cover, and I really digged it. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out with me as we went through all 4 issues. Now, the next book I picked up from the comic book store last Wednesday is a trade. It is the Immortal Hulk. This is a book I've been hearing a whole heck of a lot about. I'm going to go real quick about what this book's about. This is like going back to who the Hulk originally was when he was conceived. He's a monster that only comes out in the evening. Still part of Bruce Banner. It is, at least to me, the things that I learned in this book that are new is you can't kill the Hulk. Like, you can kill Bruce Banner, and as soon as night falls, the Hulk is going to resurrect him and Bruce Banner, and all is going to happen. Each issue of this is very much like one story, one solid story with just a tiny bit of overarching plot that they're building up. Very satisfying with each issue. If I had gotten onto this sooner and I'd picked up the comics, I would have been super satisfied with that. Very much, it feels like X-Files in the sense, you sat down once a week in the 90s to watch the X-Files. It was one episode, it was solid, it was good. You don't feel like you were left hanging, you just were ready to consume the next episode. That's how this book is. This trade paperback also at the very end, and I think it's in an appropriate spot, pulls together the panels of related books that bring you up to speed as to how the Hulk and Bruce Banner got to this Immortal Hulk issue number 1 and so on. I don't know if volume 2 is out. I think it is, and I'm going to check Wednesday when I go in because it was that good. I'm going to pick it up. I wish I'd gotten the individual issues, but there were a bunch of covers. All the covers that they really reference in this trade paperback are the ones done by Alex Ross, like this front one here. It's beautiful, and it's a really good read. So yeah, I got the trade because my comics store didn't have the single issues. They had a couple of them. The ones they did were not in the best condition. So this was a fun read. I'm going to continue reading on it, see what happens. All right, back to comics. This is DC, The Flash, issue 60. This is a $4 book. Beautiful Virgin variant here. Just a little bit of wording at the bottom to let you know what issue number it is and who worked on it and the title. This was strictly an art purchase, and there's nothing wrong with that when you're collecting comics. You can buy comics based solely on the cover art, and I do that often. So this is the Flash variant. It is a beautiful, colorful cover. I already went ahead and pre-bagged and boarded these next issues that are coming up just to speed things along. Nobody's complained about it in the comment section, so I'm going to keep it up. I'm just going to bag and board that first book. Next up is a $5 book. It is a thicker book. This is Supergirl issue 25, a really adorable cover. Again, a Virgin variant. And I haven't seen anything like this one. This one just really popped up at me. You get the straight-on look with the characters, with Superdog and Supergirl, and it is a thicker book. I don't know if it's a $5 book. I'm never going to read it. I just bought it for the art, and it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This is a book I wish I had read. I just haven't had time before I recorded this. This is Grimm Fairy Tales. This is the 2018 holiday special, and this is a shelf gnome that is a murderer, apparently. I flipped through it, and that seems to be the case, but I really am going to sit down and read this one because I'm excited about it, but the cover attracted me. That was the main reason for my purchase. I have read other Grimm Fairy Tales stuff, and I have very much enjoyed them. I don't see why I wouldn't enjoy this. I didn't have the time this week. Here we go with Mystery Science Theater 3000, the comic, issue number 3. This, again, solid issue. Didn't laugh as much as number 2. One thing I have failed to point out about the Mystery Science Theater 3000 comic is that in the middle or somewhere in each issue, there is an ad for Totino's pizza rolls, but they work it into the story, and it works in this comic that was put together to make fun of comics. Like the TV show is made to make fun of the movies, this one makes fun of comics. And so they're forced Totino's ad, and it is so blatantly forced. just works with this. And I just wanted to mention that because I hadn't mentioned that before. If you're a fan of the show, I really don't understand why you wouldn't be a fan of the comic book, especially if you've been a fan of the Kickstarter show that ended up on Netflix of Mystery Science Theater 3000. This is solid. This is really solid. Oh boy. Okay. This is Star Trek versus Transformers, issue number 3. This is a bunch of hot garbage, guys. I reviewed this on the Transmissions podcast. Absolute piece of trash. Most of the covers for this are misleading. As you can see here, you think it's going to be the original Star Trek, the original Star Trek cartoon versus the original Transformers cartoon, which it's not. They've added characters, at least on the Transformers side, that aren't in the original G1 mythos. That really bothers me at my core. I don't understand why they did that. This is a nostalgia purchase. This is, if the uninformed person who walks into the comic book store that sees this, I'm disappointed. I assume they're going to be disappointed. So an IDW should be absolutely ashamed that they put this out. This is honest. I'm a huge Transformers fan. You guys know this. I am a big Star Trek, especially original Star Trek fan. IDW should be disappointed and shamed. This is despicable, is what this is. So why do I have it? Great question. The very last page of this, the interior artist on this issue, Jack Lawrence, spoilers, created a Transformer out of the Enterprise, the original Enterprise. And it's very G1. I just fell in love with it. It's only on one panel at the very end of the book, and I had to buy it because of that. That one panel, that one picture of the Enterprise as a G1 Transformer. It just worked for me. That's it. That's the only thing I could say about this. This is an art purchase for that last panel. IDW should be ashamed of this. This is just misleading BS, trying to grab that nostalgia dollar, and I'm pissed. Obviously, I'm pissed. Final book, everybody. Final book for the week. The owner of the Comics Place, the comic book store I frequent on Wednesdays, has a list of books I am trying to get together to complete that G1 run. He handed me one on Wednesday. This is Ghost Rider issue 61. This is a tie-in with the Punisher. This completes that original storyline I'm trying to get through. This is, for this Ghost Rider, it's the Betrayal Part 4. And Punisher's in there. I just need to get a few more books so I can start reading this thing. I'm super excited. And it's a really nice cover. I've thought about doing this, collecting Ghost Rider books. I want to finish the Punisher first, though. One crazy task at a time. And guys, that is it this week for Bag and Board. Thank you so very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions, let me know. Other than that, I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys next week. Later.